Hello, everybody. Springy made me have to do this and say that these will be the interpretations of what the cosplayers think their characters would say to the questions I will be asking them. So these are nowhere the canon answers. Don't go thinking that we're sponsored by anybody, and yeah, so take it away other me.
Hello, and welcome to Demon Interviews episode. I do not know what to call this number. It's probably a point something. Anywho, like the other day, we got Team Rwby here. Woo! Um, we'll just go in order.
What?
Oh!
I'm dead. I dabbed too hard.
When you dab too hard.
Rwby. So we'll go just like introduce yourselves, just go in order of team letter, I guess.
Alphabetically or team name?
Team name. So it'd be like RWBY.
Then I'm first. Hello, my name is Ruby Rose, the bold leader of the great Team Rwby.
I'm Weiss Schnee, the ex-heiress of the group. Thanks, Dad.
Blake.
I'm Xiao Long, and my hobbies include strawberry sunrise and punching people very hard.
Well then. So, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy apocalypse to join us here today. So first of all, I want to ask if any of you have been interviewed like this before.
I have. One time at this place called Rooster Teeth Expo.
Yeah, Rwby and I were both there. We answered some rad questions and some weird ones, but it was a cool experience all around.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've never been interviewed. Offended.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. Well, the next question is going to be, did any of you ever have any family pets?
Yeah, we have Zwei. He's our dog.
He's the best
It's
dog,
not
actually.
very common in menagerie for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I do not see an obvious reason at all. Not at all. Not one.
Yeah, our dad didn't like us, so I don't think he'd get a pet.
Does your little brother count, Weiss?
I mean, yeah.
He should count.
Yeah, he would count.
Well then. So talking about siblings, out of everybody here who had a sibling, okay, sorry, I worded that wrong. That's a question. Out of everybody here who has a sibling, there we go. Word it better.
I have a sibling. Her name is Xiao Long.
Yao.
Yao.
It's me, Yao, with my sister, Rwby.
We kind of have our ups and downs, but I think we have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Beacon, and then my sister followed me, and then we ended up on a team together. And I still have other friends, I swear. I don't hang out with my sister all the time.
Her friends are
hanging out with John.
Then why haven't we seen them since the first day at Beacon?
Oh.
Yeah.
They're busy, you know, they're up and comers in the world. They got a lot of things to take care of.
I have friends, they just go to another school.
Well, Winter and I are super close, and then we have Whitley, who's just kind of there.
And I'm an only child. I guess my parents didn't really have time for a sibling.
There's a joke in there, but Anywho, so next question is going to be, why did you pick Beacon over other schools?
Well, I picked Beacon because, I mean, come on, it's the coolest, bestest, biggest, most fantastic school in the whole world, probably. I mean, my parents both went there, and of course Yang went there, so I had to go, of course. If you got an invitation to Hogwarts or Pig Farts, wouldn't you agree right away? I totally would.
And Beacon's got the scholarship money.
Whoop, whoop.
I just wanted to get away from Atlas, and I knew going to Beacon would anger my dad the most compared to Haven or Vacuo. I also didn't want to go to somewhere that had sand. So Vale made the most amount of sense.
Sand is
That's
rough and
fair.
coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Exactly.
I just wanted to follow in other hunters and huntresses' footsteps and be taught by Ozpin or under his wing, I guess.
Cool. Well, the next question is going to be, if you could use another team member's weapon, which one would it be and why?
Definitely rubies. I feel like that would be very fun.
Oh, well,
I
of
was going
course.
to say rubies would be my pick too.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, guys. You have to admit, I've got some badassery in my weapon. You don't want to try it at all?
Well,
I
we
would
don't get one.
someone.
You have a pretty cool weapon, but not that I've ever used it in the past. Once or twice or 5 times. But I think I would use Yang's if I had the chance and it wasn't connected to her body.
She's got a point there, actually. Yeah. If I had to pick, I'd probably say Blake's. She's just like swing around like a certain monkey we know.
Awesome. Well, just sticking with the theme of weapons, what inspired you to create your weapon?
Well, for Crescent Rose, I wanted something really balanced, you know? I consider myself a bit of a weapons buff. And when I was little, my Uncle Crow would, with permission, of course, let me see his sights from time to time. So I kind of wanted to make a sight too now that I was used to it, but his sights just wasn't enough for me. I had to go bigger and bolder to be prepared for anything. So I added a gun, I added a little spear bit on the end, I added some mechanisms for dust, you know, and all that together is what made my beauty Crescent Rose.
You just wanted to show off.
Yeah.
See, Winter has a sword. My grandfather had a sword, so I went down the same route. I admire Winter so much, so I based my weapon mostly off of her.
I feel like Gamble's Shroud kind of came from like the White Fang in a way. It has its abilities to be silent and deadly, but if I need defense from afar, I can still use that too.
Power, baby! That's all I designed my weapon around. Come on, let's be real. If you're in an environment like that, that's what you totally need, catching your back.
Awesome. So, obviously in a training simulation, but which one of you four would win in a fight?
Yang. She's a
I'm glad that
tank.
answer came so quickly.
And see, I've
kidding
been
me?
getting better with my summoning. I wouldn't know. I think it'd be a tie between me or Yang, considering we were the two that went forward
It
in the first
depends. Does
festival.
Ruby get her silver eyes? Because that's pretty,
They don't work against
no
us.
competition.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But if you do survive the one hit, Ruby might be KO. So, let's be real. How many of us can take a certain number of hits? That's probably the deciding factor.
Yeah.
Not wrong. Not wrong. So, next question up is, what is the scariest Grim you've had to face, either alone or as a team?
Do you guys remember during initiation that huge Nevermore that we had to face?
Yeah, that
Giant
was
first
a
grip of
pretty
such
big
size.
start.
I was
See,
pretty
I was going to say the apathy because we nearly lost Blake from
Yeah,
that
that is
grim.
true.
Like, if it wasn't for Rwby and Maria, we would have died.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Nevermore was scary because we had no idea what we were doing. The apathy was scary on the Grim itself. So I think the winner has to go to the apathy.
I feel like the correct answer is just any grim if you're not prepared.
You're not wrong.
just any common grim though.
I don't know, Rwby. There was that one time with the Ursa back in Patch.
You don't mention that. Not here.
So, the next question is going to be, how did everyone discover the Semblances?
So one time I was helping Ty with dinner and I stubbed my toe and it hurt a lot. But then it didn't hurt and my eyes were red and it was really weird. And then we were like, what if you hit me again? So then I was like, Rwby, give me a smack. And she didn't really do a good one. But then Uncle Crow was nearby. He gave me a good smack. And my eyes were even more red. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yang!
What?
I mean, at least it's not as bad as being struck by lightning like Nora.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Everybody's got an origin story. Some of them are weird, some of them are cool.
For mine, I was also running from Ty. Just had to go fast, gotta go fast, need for speed. And all of a sudden, I was just whoosh, through the air, and it was so cool and so pretty. Whoosh.
For me, it would have been at one of the White Fang protests when I was about 7. I was being chased by, I don't even remember, but I was so scared. And then suddenly I was like way ahead of them and they were arresting what looked like me, but it wasn't. And then suddenly it disappeared, just like a shadow.
See, us Schnees are unique and we all have the same or similar semblance. So the moment I was, I think maybe 8 or 7, Winter started training me in preparation for one day that my glyphs would come. And they did. And then she kept training me until she, left. And then I kept training afterwards until I perfected my summoning when I was locked in my bedroom.
Awesome.
That's rough, buddy.
So the next question is going to be, what song or band defines who you are?
Mm.
I'm
Wait,
not
can I
going to
get my-
call anyone in this group out for playing a particular lot of Evanescence in the dorm room, but it has happened way more often than it should have.
I would like to say that my own song, Life is Mine, kind of defines me, considering I wrote the lyrics about trying to break away from my family, and that is what I'm currently doing.
That's very true. Mm.
I just like anything you can like headbang to, you know?
Yeah.
It really gets the blood pumping.
I feel like my answer would be something that really gets me determined, willing to fight back.
I think for me, that song, Let's Just Live, kind of relates to my life somehow. So I'd say that one.
Awesome. Well, the next question is going to be, if you could tell your past selves from, let's say, about when you joined Beacon or joined as a team, if your past selves could peek into the future of who you are now, what would you try and change differently about what happens?
I'd say Pyrrha.
Yeah.
I think Real would.
I don't know.
Yang would say for arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, I got a lot of cool features now, which is nice. I mean, there's like a tea brewer, there's an alarm system, there's a bunch of stuff that my normal arm couldn't do, but sometimes it's hard to use touchscreens.
It was just so much simpler back then, you know? Like, the biggest choice we had was, do we want cake or pie for dessert? And I'd really like going back to those days before all this and now.
I kind of miss just eating lunch before the Vital Festival. I feel like I was really happy that day.
And remember when we played games in the library and Weiss would think that she's actually good, but then she wouldn't realize that I have a trap card and totally blow her whole army?
In
Good
my
days.
defense, it's the first time I played that game.
Excuses, excuses.
Get good.
The next question is going to be, what is your favorite flower?
Well, I
Well, the
think
Belladonna, of course.
I'd say a lily.
Probably a sunflower. They're so like bright and huge and beautiful. And then like they can grow to be like 8 feet tall. So it's like kind of powerful too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably as tall as you.
Ruby, sorry, we weren't able to hear you over everybody else. Can you please say your answer one more time?
yeah, sorry about that. I thought it was pretty obvious for me that I like roses the best. They remind me of my mother, and I mean, it's my last name, so.
Whoa, Ruby likes roses?
I
Would never have
knew.
guessed.
Crazy, I know. So now these will be individually asked questions for each of you. Some of these are coming from some of your fans in my universe. So yeah, most of them are from fans in my universe. I made like one of them, so I'm sorry if any of them get weird. So first, and these are gonna be in team order. So first, for Ruby is, how heavy is Crescent Rose? About.
Not heavy at all. I mean, I carry her on my back all day, all the time. She's light as a feather. Exactly, she is 16.46 pounds. But I mean, who's counting that stuff? She's easy enough to swing around in battle like a stick of butter, so not heavy at all.
Wait a second, Ruby. You bring sticks of butter to battle?
Yeah, it makes the ground slippery, okay? And then our enemies like trip and they're like, oh no, I'm all covered in butter now, and then we win.
She's got a point.
Consider it.
So the next question is going to Weiss. Since we have talked about your brother a little bit, why do you, and I assume your sister as well, dislike your brother so much?
Well, he also dislikes us, so it's a mutual feeling. But he's too much like our dad, and neither of us really like him. I mean, I arrested him, so you know that kind of proves I don't like him. Winter shouted at him, but he thinks that me leaving was a bad choice and is bad for the family name, even though we're trying to do our own thing and not just be like these pretty girls sitting there like, hi, and trying to make our own path. And he doesn't like that.
Well, I understand why the mutual hatred now. So the next question is going to Blake. Which do you prefer, catnip or weed?
Oh, this is gonna come back to bite me. Catnip.
Now we know.
Ooh.
Just don't use it against me.
So the next one is going to be for Yang, which we actually already talked about a little bit. But what kind of bonus features does your arm have?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I was trying to make the best of a bad situation, so if I was going to lose my arm, the other arm was going to be better than what I had before. So there's a T-ring function, there's an alarm clock, there's a homing device, there's a remote start for Bumblebee, which is currently in the shop right now, so I guess that's not super relevant, but it's still there. I could get calls from it.
Cool. And we'll be talking about a question about a different feature later on. So, that you may or may not have, because we don't know. So, next, now going back around to Rwby, this kind of goes into how you found your semblance, but what is your first reaction to what you got for your semblance?
It was so cool. Like, just imagine being me, a young kid, and suddenly being able to just all over the place. I'm pretty sure I was bouncing off the walls for weeks afterwards, even though I didn't have any control. And I may have broken a few doors and scratched a couple walls, but it was all in good fun.
Can confirm.
Well, next up is for Weiss. How about, give or take, how much is your family worth for all the weirdos out there who wish to ask?
That's not information I can give out. It's that
Oh.
much. It's too much. Whatever number you're thinking, times it by 10,000.
I was thinking like
lot of
$2, but okay, Jesus. I'm kidding. So the wow, I have to rephrase this question a little bit for Blake, because I was expecting someone else to have to do this question, and well, I am the one who has to do it. Anywho, okay, how much adult magazines or books do you carry around with you while traveling, Miss Blake?
I lost a big part of my collection in the fall of Beacon, which is very tragic. I mean, it's not as tragic as the lives that we lost, but it's good literature, you know?
Don't worry, guys. Ninjas of Love made it.
Yes, that's one of the only ones that did make it, which Yang does know about.
And Rwby had the unfortunate chance of reading that.
I'm trying to forget.
And that's why that question was made. Next question, actually the next two questions are going to go to Yang, because there was a lot for Yang, it seemed. First one is, how is it, because as the introductions to who you all are said, Rwby, who I assume is your younger sister? Actually, no, we know. We watch your live like it's a cartoon. So, how is it being, let's say, I'm going to word this differently, but how is it being bossed around by your little sister, basically?
Okay, whoever asked that question clearly has no idea who the real boss is around here. I give Rwby all the technical administrative stuff, so then I can do what I want. This partnership works both ways. It's better that Rwby takes care of that, so I can be kind of like do my own thing. I'm my own leader.
Yeah. So you're like the Iron Man of the group. You're not the leader, but you pay for everything and make everybody look cool.
Well, I don't pay for anything, but I do look cool. So yes, I'll take that.
Awesome. Well, so the next question for Yang is going to be we're asking about a certain feature that may or may not be in the arm. Does your new arm have a vibration function?
Dude, how am I supposed to get calls when I'm in a meeting? Come on, I have to be able to put it on vibrate. You don't want to hear doot 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 in the middle of like class. It's so embarrassing. You know what Port would say? He would tell me to take it and put it in my locker, which is my whole arm, so I can't do that. So I have to have a vibration feature. Dully.
And also for devastating attacks.
Exactly.
Of course.
Finally, another visionary.
Exactly. See, and some good massages. So the next question, there's also going to be some group questions in the future. That's why the next one's just going to go straight to Weiss, because all three of the group questions have Rwby involved. So the next one for Weiss is going to be, it looks like we're just getting really personal with all these questions. Usually we do not do this, but yeah, people wanted to know, why do you like Neptune over Jean, who does so many things to try to impress you?
See, that's the issue. Jean tried to impress me. Neptune didn't. And Jean's first impression wasn't exactly the best either. Like, if he was to ask me out now, the answer may be a bit different. I mean, I did go to the movies with him. Yeah. But Neptune is still an option. Because, I mean, have you seen him?
Yeah.
At least with the first impression, you didn't get vomit on your shoes like Yang.
Yeah, I had to throw away that pair of boots. Vomit Boy's vomit is like super toxic. Like, if we didn't know what we knew, I would have assumed in that moment that his semblance was toxic vomit. Let's be real. And that does not exactly paint a Casanova picture of our good friend Jean. Love him, but he is what he is.
Dear friend.
I'm very sorry, Blake, for all of the weird questions, but here comes another one from everybody else in the world. I swear, I tried to find a normal one, but they're all just either very adult or very this one of so in your life, but also I'm saying show because here, yeah, I'm trying to word this correctly so I don't seem like a dick. Okay. So or sound very rude. In the beginning, it seemed like you made your life out to be darker than it is, and with other people on your team not having half of their parents or the parents being actual rude people. What? Wow, I went way. This is like a short question, but I made it way longer. Okay. Why did you make your backstory seem darker, family-wise, than it really is? With your family, live with both your parents alive and living in a big house.
And not a dirtbag.
I feel like it would have been a lot harder to explain my dad. I know that Sun was very shocked when he found out, and things changed from my childhood. Like, it was dark, but things did get better. But we're still fighting for justice, and it's still going to be a long fight. So even though it's not as dark as what I made it out to be, it's still no fairy tale.
Makes sense. Very understandable. So now we're going on to some of the group questions. And again, I'm very sorry, Blake, but this is going to be going for Rwby, Weiss, and Yang. Wow, I made these questions. Somebody else was supposed to read these, and yeah. Wow. Yeah, these are fun questions. How does it feel having to deal with a human-sized cat? Like, does Blake run around at night chasing ghosts?
Just chase.
I'm not an animal.
Well, you have followed a laser pointer before. We've all seen Yang do it with you. We have all witnessed that.
That was one time.
Guilty as charged.
It still happened.
Us at like the edge of our bed, and one time I stepped in your bowl of noodles because you just left it as a present for me at my bed.
I thought you might be hungry.
There's the whole thing of Zwei. Whenever Zwei comes to visit, you gotta put Zwei away because Blake doesn't like Zwei, even though he's like an angel.
Adorable.
He jumps and he licks, and I don't like it.
You just don't understand his greatness.
And you can see why people wish to ask this question. But the next two questions are actually going to be going to the sisters here. First one is going to be, how was it How was it growing up with just you both and Ty, and later on why?
Chaotic, definitely.
I kind of feel bad for Ty.
Yeah, he was kind of less of a dad, more of a wrangler, considering how many things we ended up getting into. Like, there was that one time that, like, I put Ruby in the wagon and we went, like, exploring, and it really was a bad idea, but I was looking for my dirtbag mom, and we got super lucky that Uncle Crow was there to help us because Ty was away on a mission. And, yeah, we were a handful.
Yeah, and do you remember that time when you refused to eat vegetables for like a solid month? And then because you didn't want to eat your vegetables, I didn't want to eat my vegetables either. That would be unfair. And Ty had to come back with like mashed carrots, but he called them dragon meat. And we gobbled it up. We were like, yeah, dragon meat, it's delicious. It was carrots. But
I know, we were so foolish. Ty was such a creative parent.
he was.
I
Well,
cannot
is.
wait
I mean,
to
he's
meet your
still
dad.
around. I don't know why I'm saying was.
Yeah. Let's hope so. So the next question is going to be, what was it like when you both first got Zwei?
Fun. Very fun and exciting.
Yeah, as a puppy, he liked to pee everywhere. We lost a lot of clothes.
Mm.
Cause I mean, you can wash him, but like, is it really clean?
Yeah. Understandable.
And he eats so much. Like, we eat like
Oh.
3 cans a day, and he's like this big. Why? Where does it go?
Just a void in his little stomach of his.
Exactly.
Well then, that is all of the questions on the list. So, first of all, I want to say, I want to tell you who actually, wow, words are hard for my brain sometimes. Who actually suggested you for? It was actually Team Juniper, and it was Jean, Nora, Pira, and Ren, who all 4 of them suggested you for this.
Pira?
Now I feel
Yeah.
bad that we harped on Sean.
Yes.
He kind of deserves
Pira.
it. Just
And no, this was not like 5 years ago. This was 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
So Pyrrha.
She was different.
Well, I mean, Nora said nothing bad ever happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's gonna be a fun conversation for y'all to have later. So now there's gonna be more questions from my head. The next one is gonna be for all of you, of course. Who would you like to see on the show in the future? Because this is being recorded and gonna be posted on what we call YouTube.
Oh, Ruby, we should totally get Dad on here.
Yeah,
He'd pick
he
up
would
the
love.
place so hard.
Then you can all hear some stories from our childhood. Maybe we'll have to get him to tell us first. But yeah.
And hear about his sunflower garden.
Mm.
And I think that's all he really wants to talk about, actually.
Yeah.
Can always get Team Sun on. I know they're not that busy in Vacuo.
Oh, Team Coffee. I think they're back.
Oh, cool. Well, we'll definitely use our magical ways to cross dimensions and get them onto the show as well. So, next up is going to be, would you all ever like to come back to this small YouTube show in the future?
Yeah, man. This is super fun.
Definitely.
If we're not
Talking
busy,
about all the embarrassing things our team has done.
Yeah. Well,
There are some stories.
Yeah.
definitely since the last time that what we saw, and as of right now, has not come out yet, but it seems like y'all are in a little bit of trouble. Just a little bit. Just a small. It's just a whale of a problem.
We'll figure it out. It's cool.
I wanted to say thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon. If you have any questions for our lovely guests here, either as a group or individually, definitely leave them in the comments section below. And at least I will see you in the next video. Bye. Wait, there's one more question. So it's for Miss Yang and Blake here. So are you? My mouse is not working. Hold on, I need to make sure I can read the question correctly. Are you two a thing?